Hey guys, this is Vashtra Reads, bringing you another story to listen to while you do what you do. Tonight's story, My Sister Texted Me After 4 Years of Silence, is brought to you by augustine01189. I found this on the subreddit No Sleep. I think it's a good one, and I hope you wonderful people do as well. Well, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. This happened a few months ago. I still really haven't recovered. Here's the journal entries I wrote during these events and what I wrote in therapy after. I'll tie them together for clarity's sake. I haven't talked to my sister in years, so I found it surprising when she texted me. My parents had a messy divorce when I was 15. She went with my mom and I stayed with my dad. He forbid me from having contact with either of them. Eventually, I reconnected with my mother when I graduated high school and moved away to college. I'm 23 now and was delighted when my sister texted me. I don't have screenshots of the conversation, but here's the gist of it. Sister: Hi, it's been a long time. How are you? Me: Oh my God, I haven't seen you in years. Life is pretty good, graduating college this summer, and I just leased a nice apartment. How are you? I haven't heard about you from Mom in a long time. Sister: Things are great. I adopted the most adorable black lab a couple years ago, and I have a great job. It's so nice to talk to you again. We chatted until I had to go back to class. It felt great to talk to her again after so long. I couldn't believe she still had the same phone number. It was a couple of days until we talked again. She mentioned being in my city for a few days for work, and that we should meet up somewhere and get coffee. I happily agreed and sent her the address to my favorite coffee shop. Another few days have passed, and I'm gearing up to see her. I arrive at the cafe and ordered myself a mocha. I knew the barista from my art history class. She always sat in front of me, so I had an almost perfect image of the back of her head. Her hair was blonde and curly. When the sun was on it, it was almost like a perfect halo. Often she wore it up, but a few times during the colder days, she would wear it down. I can see now how she would flip it behind her as she leaned forward to take notes. Oddly enough, I don't remember her name. Too bad she isn't wearing a name tag. I sat down and waited, scrolling through Instagram to pass the time. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and I started to get worried. My phone stalled for a second, then started buzzing, my sister's name popping up on the screen. I pressed the little green button to accept the call and held it to my ear. Hello? I asked, slightly anxious after not hearing my sister's voice for so long. Would it still sound the same? Hi. I'm so sorry. My flight got canceled at the last minute this morning, and I'm just now able to get to charge my phone. Sorry for standing you up, she said in a slightly frantic tone. Her voice was the same, maybe a little rougher now, but close enough. A grin erupted on my face. That's all right. Another time then? I said. Definitely. I want to move closer to you in the near future for work so you can even visit. She sounded cheerful, which was nice. The last few times we'd talked before Mom and Dad split, she had sounded cold and empty. We chatted for another hour or so, my mocha getting cold as the day progressed. Once she had hung up to go find herself some food, I did the same. I took the subway back to my apartment. It had been a few months since my sister and me tried to meet up again. She was in the process of moving into the city, so that I took up most of her time. I was frantic with classes, trying to get everything done before graduation. I didn't give much thought to my sister aside from the weekly texts, but when she invited me over for dinner one night that week, I was overjoyed. I was honestly feeling a little lonely. My roommate had just moved out, leaving me with an apartment all to myself. I wasn't used to the silence, the stillness of everything, so spending some time with my sister was sure to make me feel better. In the coming days, I didn't do much but homework, so when the day finally rolled around for me to go over to my sister's apartment, I was excited. I shot her a text saying that I was on my way, packing a small bag with things I would need: phone charger, a bottle of wine, and a cute subway map as a housewarming present. My walk down to the subway station was jaunty, to say the least. There was an excited spring in my step, and even with the cold air, I felt great. The ride was smooth and on time. I even had a seat, which was rare at this time of day. I got off the subway and climbed the stairs onto the street. I realized I didn't know my sister's address. I pulled out my phone and called her. "Hey, I'm close. What's your address?" 449 blank Street, apartment 12, she replied. I walked down the street, staring at the numbers on the sides of the red brick buildings. "Hey, I could see you out the window," she said excitedly. I looked up to see a large window where the lavender curtains had shifted. A hand poked out and waved me up. I waved back and headed inside. The wrought iron railing up the stone stairs was twisted in a way that it reminded me of our childhood home. I headed up the flight of stairs inside to a hallway with 2 apartment doors, 11 and 12. I knocked on 12's door and waited. A goofy smile came on my face. "Come in," I heard her yell from inside. Classic blank. I wanted to get off the couch to answer the door. I grabbed the dingy brass handle and pushed, the door swinging open. The first thing I noticed is that the apartment was dark, no lights on at all. The second thing was the lack of shoes in the hall or coats hanging on the wall. Weird? Maybe she hasn't gotten to decorating yet. The farther I advanced into the apartment, the more seemed wrong. The smell is what got me, a horrible, almost moldy smell. Then I noticed all the boxes, unpacked boxes, still full of everything she owned. She had moved in 2 weeks ago. You'd think she'd at least have some of her things unpacked. I rounded the corner and stopped dead in my tracks. There she was, draped over the back of the couch, blood spattered against the far wall. Her and a long chasm ran up the middle of her face. She was unrecognizable. I couldn't breathe as I walked closer, holding the straps of my bag so tight as it felt if my fingers would snap. Laying in her outstretched hand was a small gun. For a moment I saw a movement in her face, hoping she could still be alive, but I was wrong. The movement I saw wasn't life, but a festering pile of maggots writhing from her skin. It was too much. The skin pulsated up and down. I felt my stomach lurch. From her ruined eye socket, a long white worm squeezed itself from under the thinning skin. I backed up so fast that I fell, my palm slamming into the ground behind me as I thought to catch my fall. The fall seemed to get me breathing again, thinking again. The thought that stands out most even now, not the image of her bug-filled face or the blood on the wall, but the thought, if my sister was dead, then who called me in? I hope you enjoyed that one. I know I did. If you did too, please consider hitting that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Feel free to drop a comment and I'll reply to as many as I can. If you would like to read the story, I will leave a link to it in the description below. If you have any stories that you would like me to narrate, please consider posting them in the subreddit I created just for you guys. r/Vashtra Reads. Until next time.